I thought it would be a great time to do sort of a back-to-back Coffee with Cannon, because the coverage on the Madeline Soto case, and we keep trying to interject other things to it, but there's the interviews yesterday that was all over YouTube. In fact, a podcaster named Grizzly had it on, and it was the recordings from the video recordings of the interviews with Jennifer Soto that took place on March 1st. And we know that that was the day that they found Madeline's body. And it was very interesting to watch the interview with Jennifer Soto, because I have been saying right from the very beginning that I believe that Jennifer Soto was involved in this. And I don't believe her crocodile tears. I don't believe her whining. I don't believe she's as stupid as she tries to make everyone think she is. And I think that I used the word early on that she's complicit. Moonlight view. I'm not a morning person. Yeah, that's all I keep hearing. Every time I hear or think of Stephan Sterns, I think of that. I'm not a morning person, you know, as he tries to lie around his, when he gets caught in his lies, you know. 11 people in the chat, 3 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon. Backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, whatever you want to call it. I just had gotten off the air for about an hour and 30 minutes where I discussed the interviews with Kim Alliston is back. Kim, thank you so much. You didn't have to show up again. I know you were there for an hour and a half and I just got off the air. But this case is so important. I do find it so interesting. And there's a lot of podcasters now coming up with freedom of information law information, and they're putting it up on the screen, and they're getting huge audiences, and they really, other than having that stuff, they really don't have that much to say about it. You know, they have the information, they have the videos, and that's great, and I'm glad you're doing it, because it allows some of us other YouTubers to look at the information you just that you delivered out there. And it is very helpful, believe it or not. And thank you for that. One of them is the docket. He comes up with some information. And when I watched, Luna sending a big hello from Astoria, Queens. Thanks for everything you do. Luna, thank you. I actually was born in Astoria General Hospital. Amazing, right? My mother was raised in Astoria, Queens. So that neighborhood, which has become one of the gold standards of Queens now. Everyone that can't afford Manhattan wants to move across the river to Astoria, Queens, and because of its location and how close it is to Manhattan. So guys, 24 in the chat, 9 with the thumbs up. We were talking about the interviews of Stephan Sterns and of course of Jennifer Soto. And I found the interview of Jennifer Soto to be enlightening because since the very Peggy Willis, how sick do you get kissing to sicko Jen and can't charge her at this time? You know, Peggy Willis, I believe that Jennifer Soto will be charged. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time. She's going to be charged. The detectives that interviewed her on March 1st, and that was the day that they found Maddie's body later on in that afternoon. And that is the day that this interview took place. And the interview of Jennifer Soto by these 2 detectives who just let it all hang out. They just hit her with everything they had. They said, we don't like the way that after everything you found out, you're still supporting Stephan Sterns. And to most people, that is so baffling, how she could still support Stephan Sterns after all of the things that went on, all the things she was apprised of, all the evidence they had against Stephan. Yet she called Stephan's father and said, I think you got to get an attorney for Stephan. Chris Sterns. She called Chris Sterns. I think you got to get an attorney. I think you need an attorney. So with the information she was giving, that was baffling that she was still supporting Stephan Sterns when she knew what he had done to her daughter. And she knew, based on what the detectives told her that day, he murdered your daughter. But yet she had this craziness that she couldn't let herself believe it. That she was still clinging on to the potentiality that Stephan Sterns was a good guy or something. It is just too baffling to believe. 35 people in the chat, 18 with the thumbs up. Let's bring them in, guys. Let's get them in from across the pond. Let's get them in from all over the world. South Africa, where are you? Ireland, England. Where are all you guys? I know it's early, but it's we want to see all our folks, all our friends from across the pond to join us in Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage. So many people, again, are covering this case. And there's new information coming out all the time. And, you know, I'm sorry, guys, I got a new gimbal. And I'm trying to acclimate myself to it. There we go. That's much better. 40 in the chat, 23 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, police off the cuff. Peggy Willis, me too. Do they have to charge her with something? Peggy Willis, I think down the road she will be charged with something. As for right now, we're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to be satisfied with the fact that they have Stephan Sterns. He's under arrest and he's not going anywhere. In fact, I believe he's going to get convicted of everything they charge him with. There's just so much evidence against Stephan Sterns. And Kim Alliston is in the chat, one of our finest moderators. Chicken Lady, hello from New York. 41 in the chat, 25 with the thumbs up. Let's bring them in. Call your friends, your neighbors, your family. I get you in my beautiful yard. It's so green. You believe it's Glow Rocks from Bronx, New York. Boogie down Bronx. The Bronx, we used to say, right? D-A-B-R-O-N-X. The Bronx. But 38 in the chat, 26 with the thumbs up. Coffee with Cannon. So we're talking about the interview that was sort of let loose on YouTube last night. And at one time I saw that Grizzly, who released the video interviews, had 19,000 people in the chat. 19,000 people were watching it. And I was amazed by that. There was a lot of, so it just shows there's a lot of interest in this case. There's a whole faction of true crimers that want to know what is the truth in this case. And many people want to know, when is Jennifer Soto going to get charged? When is she going to... Jackie of Almost All Trades, Grizzly is amazing. She's very good with the computer, I'll give her that much. She comes up with a lot of this stuff. She's got a good channel, absolutely. So I tried to, because I did not have permission to use the interview video, I could just speak upon it. And that's where my expertise comes in. I know what the detectives were doing. Detectives were trying to get information at the time they were interviewing Jennifer Soto. They were trying to get information on where could Stephan Sterns have done to Madeline's body. So they had to be brutally honest with Jennifer and say, look, your daughter's dead. So you gotta face that now. Glow Rocks, I believe Jennifer Soto was on the spectrum, absolutely. So they're trying to get us to say, well, Stephan likes to go to this location, or Stephan likes to go to that location. But she was no help. And this again was March 1st at around 12:30, 12:40 something in the afternoon. And that afternoon, I believe it was at 4:30 p.m., Madeline's body was recovered. So the body was recovered based upon a lot of different things. It was recovered based upon the fact that they had tracked Stephan Sterns' vehicle via license plate readers, and they also got a tip from a caller that saw him in the vicinity where the body was found changing a flat tire. So all of the investigative resources, all the investigative work that the police and the detectives and multiple police departments did in connection with this case tied it all together, and that's how they were able to recover Madeline's body. And as we all recall, that was March 1st. She went missing on February 26th. So March 1st, they discovered her body. She went missing on February 26th. Stephan Sterns was already under arrest for the images on his phone, and that occurred, I believe, on the 29th. He was arrested on February 29th. So he was in, you know, and we know based upon, hello Deb C, hello, 53 in the chat, 36 with the thumbs up. Let's bring him in, guys. Let's get your friends and your family coming in to Backyard Beverage, Coffee with Cannon, Police Off the Cuff. Just doing like a little afternoon chat after we did the show before. So he was already in jail for all of those images. But then once they found the body, I was going to tell you in the videos last night, can't wait to hear your perspective. Ashley, I already did a show on it earlier today. I was just doing this as a little conversation with people in the chat of what they thought. Chicken Lady, Bill, do you think Steph has done this before? Well, I think that Stephan Sterns, the essay, yeah, I think he's been doing that his whole life. I think Stephan Sterns has victims all over the place. As far as murder, I think this is his first time out. I think this is the first time he's ever killed somebody. And I think the murder was done to silence Madeline. And many people have been conjecturing that could it be that Madeline was pregnant? And people have been saying that from the very beginning. And I don't like to say or conjecture anything without evidence, but I think there is a distinct possibility that that is the case, that perhaps she was pregnant. So he did it for some reason. There was some motive to do what he did. And let's not forget, he was out of their house from December till February, so 2 months. Just about 2 months he was gone out of their house. So he must have found out something, right? Through talking directly to Madeline, or perhaps talking to Jennifer Soto. And that's why none of the detectives believe anything that Jennifer Soto says. They think she's a habitual liar. She's lied her way, the whole way through this case. She's lied all the time. Was it accidentally that she lied? Or was it accidentally on purpose that she lied? So these are some of the questions we had. And we watched that interview. The detective did not hold back. He laid into Jennifer Soto. And he basically told her, your behavior is not believable. Your behavior is inconsistent with a mother. Your behavior is not the behavior of an innocent person. Your behavior where you turn on and off the tears is not believable. So what is it? Are you lying, or is your behavior just inconsistent? These are some of the things that the detectives were asking her. And the one detective laid into her. He said, we showed you pictures of horrific things involving your daughter. And you sort of like make light of it. Heather whatever, in the very least, Jennifer dropped the ball for years. Awful. Heather whatever, 100%. She, as a parent, you have an obligation to protect your children. Not only did she not protect her daughter, but she led her right into harm's way by allowing this creep, Stephan Sterns, to live in their house, right? And he was a creep in so many different ways. Not only was he a creep in what we found out he was doing based on the photos on his camera, excuse me, on his phone, but he was a creep in the way that he didn't work. Ashley watched her last night, and it was, yeah, you know, Ashley, I watched it also, and I found that Jennifer Soto is not believable. Is not believable, but I find her not just not believable and a liar, but somehow at the same time pitiful. Like, she either seems to me that, I acknowledge that she has mental illness. I think she's also addicted to prescription drugs. Tracy Mitchell, BLT. I think she's addicted to prescription drugs, and she sort of tried to include Madeline and Stephan Sterns in that same, oh, we're all the same, we're all like neurotic, we're all mental illness, we're all on drugs. And what did they do? They over-medicated Maddie. Was that to control Maddie? Was that so she wouldn't remember anything, all the horrific things? Ashley agreed. I think she's addicted to, she kept saying, both of them, stepdad used Jennifer to get to the little girls. Sad. Chicken Lady, Stephan Sterns was not her stepdad. He was a mother's boyfriend that was brought into the house and was a predator. He was definitely not a stepdad. That was introduced in the very beginning. Oh, he's her stepdad. He was not her stepdad in any stretch of the imagination. Vicky O'Quinn, Sergeant Bill, hello. So welcome, Vicky. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Always good to see you. 81 in the chat, 54 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon. A little later in the day because I just did a show right before this, but I felt like I needed to still discuss it with you guys. That interview, of course, with Jennifer Soto that took place on May 1st was really a powerful interview. And I think, Martha Miner, good afternoon to you too. I think the detective did an outstanding job. He didn't hold back. He laid into her and said, look, I'm telling you things, and your reaction is not consistent with someone who gives a shit. You're not reacting the way a normal person should react. And you lie. And it seems like you're more concerned with Stephan Sterns than you are of your dead daughter. And then at some point she broke down crying. But at that point, to me, I wasn't believing those crocodile tears. I wasn't buying it. I did not buy that, oh, she's now so sad. She realizes what happened. She realizes that her 13-year-old daughter is never coming home again. She realizes that her 13-year-old daughter was victimized by this perp, Stephan Sterns. She realizes that she's never going to see her daughter again. In some way, she still can't accept that Stephan Sterns did this. And even in Stephan Sterns' own family, his father, Chris, and his mother, Deborah, they're in their 70s, right? But they're still sympathetic to their son. They're still supporting their son. And they had said that they always will, because it's their son. And no matter what he did, they'll still support him. Annabelle Romo, welcome. Eileen, hi, is this coffee? This is Coffee with Cannon. Is that Eileen as in YLZ Pony? I'm seeing, because it looks like Eileen. The coffee is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, a subsidiary. Eileen, that is you from YLZ Pony, right? Yay, I figured it out. That's why I'm a detective, right? I figured it out. That's not Eileen. That's Wild Z Pony. But that's her real name. It's not Wild Z Pony, so I'm wrong. So it's a different Eileen. Well, Eileen, welcome. Even if you're not Wild Z Pony, I still welcome you to the show. Heather, whatever, cool. So then when we watched, it was sort of a Lollapalooza last night. Then we watched the interview of Stephan Sterns. And it was from our real Eileen. Codependent parents are the worst. Madam Whipass reads, hello. Madam Whipass, hello and welcome to the show. When we watched Stephan Sterns' police interview, and that was on February 29th. Now remember on the 28th, they were told by detectives that you can't stay at your house tonight, you can't stay at the condo because we're doing a crime scene at the condo. We're going to have all kinds of crime scene detectives there searching, taking pictures, collecting evidence. So now they had to stay at a hotel. And so what does Stephan do? He calls Daddy, Daddy, could you come? So his daddy drives an hour and a half to the hotel, probably pays for both rooms. And they're staying overnight in this hotel that's somewhere near Disney. And they're staying there. And at some point in the middle of the night, Chris Sterns drove from Northport, Florida to near Orlando. At some point in like 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, Stephan Sterns gets up, leaves the front entrance of the hotel, and takes Jennifer's car and drives to Northport, Florida, the home of his mother. And now we know what he was trying to do. He was trying to destroy evidence. He was trying to delete more photos on his computer. But he never got into his mother's home because she was locked down. Faces of Meth, OMG. So he drives over 3 hours, 4 hours round trip in the middle of the night using Jennifer Soto's car. Glow rocks, diabolical, yes, because he was trying to destroy evidence. So all of this stuff, though, he's sort of an amateur criminal because he drives 4 hours round trip, but he's caught doing whatever he's doing. Caught through going out the front door of the hotel, caught on video leaving. His father asked him, where the hell were you? Jennifer Soto wanted to know where he was. He was like, I couldn't sleep. I wanted to take a ride, and then I got lost. He's such a liar. When his father says when his lips move, he's lying, Ashley, yeah, that part, Jen said he was asleep when she came in. But there was a reason, Ashley, that he left the hotel, and that was to go to Northport, Florida, to his mother's house to destroy evidence. And there was evidence that he tried to destroy the evidence, but there was also evidence that he was unsuccessful in destroying the evidence. I know I overused the word evidence in that, but that's what his mission was. That's what he was doing, going to Northport, Florida. And then he comes back the next day, and at some point in that day, he's arrested, right? He's arrested because they discovered all the images on his phone, which were of a horrific nature. Ashley, definitely a pathological liar. Yes, no doubt. 93 in the chat, 74 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. Welcome, everyone. I see some new names. If you're not subscribed, go on our YouTube or just actually go on the screen. Hit that subscribe button right on the screen. Give us a thumbs up. Ring that bell. And if you want to contribute to us, we have a Patreon with 4 different levels, and we have a YouTube channel membership with, count them, 5 different levels. Cat H, hello, friends. Welcome, Cat H. Dennis Violin, if only he was a morning person. Can he please take Glow rocks. Whether Stephan Sterns can do a plea to take the death penalty off the table, that is all in the purview of the prosecutor. Will determine that, whether he wants to offer a plea deal or not. That's unknown at this point. Stephan Sterns still has to face the music for all those images. And 60 felonies he's charged with for that. He could go away for life for those images. So before they even get to the death penalty case, let me just take a little sip of water, guys. A lot of talking. So Kim Alliston had the whatever right. I guess Stephan played a video game. If you get lost, you find your way back quickly. One of Stephan's minor but obvious lies. Glow rocks, that's right. So one of the most interesting parts of the police interview of Stephan Sterns on the 29th was when the detective was trying to get information from him, and he really wasn't coming up with anything. And when he started questioning him, and he wasn't helping the detectives at all. And he was really double super whiny. He was more whiny than he is. I'm not a money person. He was just totally whiny. And at some point, the detective told him, you know, you thought you factory reset your phone and erased all those images. And guess what? You didn't. And we found them. And there's some horrific images on that phone. And Stephan looks at him and he goes, you know, do I need an attorney? He asked the detective. And the detective says what any good detective would say, well, I don't know. That's up to you. Do you think you need an attorney? And he goes, yeah, I think I need an attorney. And of course, that ends the interview. Because once someone invokes counsel, they can no longer be interviewed. They can no longer be interrogated. Jessica Fry, Stephan is a predator, gender perfect path to his victim. She whines, she has mental illness, needs help with a child. She was always warped. I agree with you. I have said from very early on in this case that Jennifer Soto is complicit in this case. And I think that down the road, sooner than later, I think she should be arrested because she served up her daughter to this predator, and it was horrific to see and just to watch. But I would have paid the price of admission last night, whatever that was, to watch the part of the interview when the detective said, you're not free to leave. You understand that, right? And Stephan Sterns is there in his Tyvek saying, yes, I understand it, you know. And then, what happened after that? What happened after that was that detectives now started photographing his body. And why did they do that? Well, I don't want to get too graphic at parts of his body that they photographed, but they needed to compare them. The photos they took in the police facility during the interview, they needed to compare those photos to the photos on Stephan's phone, so that when he goes to trial and they compare the photos they took in the investigation with the photos that are on his phone, and you show them to a jury's going to be like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is absolutely 100% the guy. And the same goes for the photos that they would take in the Venetian Bay condo complex of the apartment, of the condo, because most of the SA, if not all of it, took place in guest room number 4. So let's see what's inside guest room number 4, and let's compare those pictures that we take as a crime scene to the pictures that are in Stephan's phone. Oh, they match. right to the bedding on the bed, right to the dresser, right to the pictures on the wall. So that makes that much more powerful evidence, because what will a defense attorney try to create doubt with? Oh, how do you know this is the same location? Well, the pictures on his phone we compared with pictures that we took in Venetian Bay condos, in their apartment, in their condo, and they compare exactly. It's the same place. So the phone that Stephan had, that he tried to factory reset to get rid of all the evidence, and he was unsuccessful at, it's one and the same. That's where the photos were taken. In guest room number 4. Tammy, what the officers did to him is they swabbed the intrusiveness of the office investigation on Stephan Sterns was nothing compared to what Stephan Sterns did to Madeline Soto. And that's for sure. That's 100%. You hit it on the head. 100% correct. 115 in the chat, 95 with the thumbs up, guys. Welcome. Anyone that's new. Heather Whatever, member for 20 months. Thank you for caring. Heather Whatever, thank you for being a member. So good to see you. Been around here for 20 months. That's fantastic. Anyone else that's new, don't be afraid to subscribe. Hit the like button. Share us with your friends, your family. This case is like a case that you don't see very often, I'll put it that way. A case that, I don't know how to describe it, a case that hopefully is not happening every day across this country of ours. You know? Although we know there's probably other people that are involved in this case. Probably other investigations have been started in connection with Stephan Sterns' phone and the images that he had inside his phone. Although the detective said of the 35,000 images that were discovered in his hard drive, or could be in his USB, that was turned over by his father, none of them was of Madeline Soto. So, different victims. Tina Wright, hello, how are you, Tina? Different people, but none of the 35,000 images were of Madeline Soto. However, 1,700 on his phone were of Madeline Soto. So, isn't that despicable enough? Or do we want more and more and more and more evidence against this guy? As I said, Eileen, where's Jen Soto? Eileen, Jen Soto is free. She's going about her life. We don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's still living in that condo. I would be, Sherry B, hi, Sergeant Bill. I would be amazed to think that she can roam around freely with all the publicity and all the bad publicity that this case got, but Lindy Hayes, hey Bill, thank you for your work on the show. Well, thank you, Lindy. It seems that every day something relatively new is coming out on this case. Mystique, police off the cuff, heartbreaking that she feels that Jennifer Soto is just as guilty as Stephan Sterns. You know, in the early parts of this case, very early on, almost no one thought that Jennifer Soto had anything to do with this. Very few people. I maintained it from the very beginning. I thought she was involved. The detective who interviewed her absolutely challenged her and said, you know, you don't react properly. You don't react like someone that was just told that her daughter's dead. You don't react properly when shown these images of your daughter being, you know, the images on Stephan Sterns' phone. You don't react correctly, and you're worried about Stephan Sterns. That makes absolutely no sense. So that's why the detective is concerned with her behavior. Faces of Meth agreed the detective exposed Jennifer Soto. Everyone says that the detectives showed restraint. It's not a detective's job to beat someone up, to slap somebody because the person is guilty. It's not the detective's job to mete out the punishment. It's the detective's job to professionally collect the information, collect the evidence, and use that interview and interrogation to get this guy the longest sentence possible. So when some of you guys say, oh, the detective was holding himself, no. They're trained not to do that. They're trained what their mission is. Many of us probably couldn't sit in the same room as a murderer, right? And I know in our system of justice, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, right? But there's certain perpetrators that we've watched in the true crime community that people aren't really saying much about that, and this is one of those cases. Stephan Sterns, you don't hear many people saying, well, he's innocent until proven guilty. Rex Human, the Gilgo Beach killer. You don't hear many people saying, oh, he's innocent until proven guilty. Brian Koberger, the Idaho stabber who was under arrest for stabbing the 4 students. You don't hear many people saying that about him either, but our system is such that all defendants are innocent until proven guilty. So even in this case, right, he's absolutely innocent until proven guilty. 127 in the chat, 110 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon. Backyard Beverage. Bitchin' with Bill, remember that one? Well, we're talking about the police interviews of Jennifer Soto and Stephan Sterns. Very interesting. Many people that are on YouTube that are presenting these, some of them don't know exactly what the detectives are doing and why they're doing it. So we on this channel try to explain that. This is what the detectives are doing. This is why they're doing it. And I said from the very beginning, I'm very impressed with the detective work and the police work from the Kissimmee Police and also from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. They've all done an outstanding job. You can't criticize them. Annabelle Roma, I don't have a P.O. box, Annabelle. One of these days I should get one, I think. Thank you for the $2 super sticker. I can't shout my address out online for obvious reasons, but I think one of these days I will get a post office. Tom Jordan, hello to all. Please hit the thumbs up. 124 in the chat, 113 with the thumbs up. Can we get more people in here, guys? I'm torturing my voice to do 2 shows in a row, and it's my pleasure. But I want to have some more people in the chat. I guess the people from across the pond are playing golf today or something, or maybe it's raining in Dublin. I don't know. You're in the Temple Bar area, hooking a few. Kim, I would have not been able to. Martha Minor, what happened to the taking out the dog story? I think that whole taking out the dog story is absolute bullshit because it doesn't jive with the time frame that we all know to be true because there's specific time stamps. So in that way, I think that Jennifer Soto is lying, still lying about that whole dog story. Could she not pull it back now because she already lied about it? Good question, right? The dog story and the McDonald's story, yeah, they belong in the same chapter, you know. Yeah, someone just said in the chat that could it be that Stephan came back because he found out that Madeline was in fact pregnant? And that is a distinct possibility. I think an absolute possibility that Madeline was pregnant because Stephan was gone since December. So did he just find out about this? And is this why he came back? He came back to murder Madeline because she was pregnant and he was the father. Despicable, right? But that very well could be the scenario. That very well could be the motive. 2 live videos in one day. Tracy Mitchell, you had a crime scene. I've said that all along about being pregnant, Eileen. You know, Eileen, it wasn't that I disbelieved it in the beginning. There's no proof. There's no one from the law side saying, and of course, we understand that they're not allowed to release the autopsy results. But however, we got the autopsy report on the supplemental that she was murdered by asphyxia. Heather, member for 6 months, happy to catch a live stream again. Back to work. Heather, welcome, Heather. 144 in the chat. 119 with the thumbs up. Just a look from her birthday party. Yeah, you know, when we think of motive for this, that as a motive makes absolute sense. It totally makes sense that could be it. And from what we understand, this gimbal is very sensitive. As I move it from left to right, I got to be careful. But there we go. There we go. But now I put it to, okay. That looks better, I think. Right, guys? Fuzzy Doxy, the fact that her mother kept a log of her periods is totally weird unless it was for a reason. You know, Fuzzy Doxy, you're right. And that could be that this alleged motive that it's not confirmed yet. It could be the reason. It really absolutely could be the reason. I didn't want to just put it out there early on, but many have put it out there and said, oh, I bet she was pregnant. And there's no confirmation because, again, we don't have the autopsy report. Jenny B, would Jennifer Soto be allowed to leave the country? At this point, as far as I know, she has no restrictions. It hasn't been publicized that she has any restrictions. So, to answer your question, then she would be free to leave the country. There's reason to suspect pregnancy. Yeah, and even the detectives that were interviewing Jennifer Soto during that March 1st interview, they questioned that also. And if they think it, there's a good possibility that there's truth to it, right? So what many true crimers have been saying now for months, which I never really put it out there, I'll be totally honest. I didn't list that as a motive, but when I think of it now, could it be? Absolutely. It could be the motive, and we'll know that. We'll know, they will put that out there at some point. It'll come out during the trial. Will this case ever go to trial? Many of you guys are thinking he's going to get a plea bargain, you know, and is that a possibility? It is, but so many people, well, that doesn't matter. It's up to the prosecutor, whether the prosecutor in fact goes for the death penalty. And that's when we will 100% find it out. When and where will this go to trial? After the first trial and Stephan Sterns is found guilty and receives life in prison, will the thirst still be there to try the second case, which they have to try, of course, but will the thirst be there to get him the death penalty? Most people, I think 90% of the people that have been following this case want Stephan Sterns to get the death penalty. Everyone. There's no one that says, oh, life in prison is sufficient for this crime. I think everyone looks upon this crime as horrific. And most of us, when we give the thumbs up or the thumbs down, we give Stephan Sterns the thumbs down for the death penalty. And it's just such a... Karen Sorrentini, I think you go through the first trial, then he flips on Jen. you know, his testimony against Jen, it's not really worth that much. He could tell the detectives anything he wants, but I think they need an independent witness or independent evidence. So I don't see, Cat H has too much digital video images. There is so much evidence in this case that outstanding job by detectives for collecting all this evidence, for securing all this evidence, for storing all this evidence. Absolutely amazing. 144 in the chat, 126 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon. Backyard beverage, bitching with Bill, whatever you want to call it, but we're here in the yard. It's beautiful out here. It's a beautiful day. DC Paul, I would like to think there would be some question about abuse if Maddie turned up pregnant. Well, DCPNW, there's also all these images. So that's why that is such a distinct possibility. Christine, if Maddie had been found to be pregnant, there would be investigations may have all put away. So what is it that could... No, they're just looking for motive. If she, in fact, is pregnant, there's the motive right there. The motive would be there because he wants to get rid of her because she's pregnant. And if he made her pregnant, that's a crime, right? That is an absolute B felony. So that is why he was trying to cover that up, if that in fact is the truth. So if Jennifer Soto was keeping track of Madeline Soto's period, is that a distinct possibility that that was the case? Who was corresponding with Stephan Sterns about that? Was it Madeline? Was it Jennifer? Jessica Fry, we have 4 boys and 8 girls. Wow, 12 kids? I was one of 8. I was the 3rd oldest of 8 kids, and that was too many. Can't imagine 12. Olga King, they had 2 pregnancy test tubes, but Jennifer said they were there. Yeah, I heard that in the interview. That's bizarre, right? Gracie Mitchum, thank God he was caught in Florida. Olga P. King just got here again late. Well, Olga, welcome. Olga, I hope that you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell. Fuzzy Doxy, yep, JS was right in the thick of evil, both just as guilty. I think you guys, you know, I said, and again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I said early on in this investigation, I felt that Jennifer Soto was involved. And I don't think they could dismiss that. And then all the talk of her getting derivative immunity, and she gets immunity, and this, blah, 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 blah. And that doesn't mean she gets absolute immunity. Jessica Fry, my grandma had 21 kids. That's not even a pregnancy. That's a litter, right? A litter of kids, you know. How many twins in those 21? Oh my God, or triplets, multiple births. Cat H, grateful my 2 girls were golden. Someone said I had 5. I feel like I was a slacker. Nancy Joe, good to see you. Wow, I had 18. Fuzzy Doxy, it wasn't easy, but they're all grown now. I can't believe having that many kids. It's just incredible. So 145 in the chat, 135 with the thumbs up. This is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill. We're talking about Jennifer Soto and her police interview, talking about Stephan Sterns and his police interview that were played last night on YouTube. In fact, so many people watched it, I can't even imagine. I think both of her shows went over 100,000 views in less than 24 hours. That's pretty incredible. So I think there was there was 19,000 in the chat. And as I said, I think both of the police interview shows went over 100,000 views in less than 24 hours. That's pretty incredible. So I felt, guys, today, because those shows were on last night, that I would, your background sounds lovely with these birds are noisy today, right? It's those crows. Those crows scream, they're so loud. I think it's the boss crow is yelling at his crew, get back in the tree, do your work, Diane Somerhalder, hello. One birds want that camera. Yeah, the bird wants to be on the show. But I just thought that I would try to explain some of the things the detectives were doing in those interviews, the interviews were great. And then the point where they started collecting evidence, taking photographs of Stephan Sterns' body. I thought that was fantastic. And the fact he looked so defeated and so forlorn and so violated reminds us all what he did to little Madeline. And if there's a single person in this chat that would shed a tear for this guy, please don't. Please realize who he is. The monster that he is, based on the things he did. So, again, Olga Kingen with real women taking pictures of him. Yeah, I wonder if he objected to that, right? Women detectives were photographing his most intimate parts, and there's not a thing he could do about it, right? Just absolutely crazy. But I thought I would present that and show you what the evidentiary use of what they were doing. And Chef Lady, hello, police off the cuff fans. Tracy Mitchell, I find it difficult to watch him. Pathetic baby man, he makes me want to vomit. Baby man, that's what he's been called on here. He certainly doesn't look like a 37-year-old man. When I saw some of those jail photos, he looked like he was about 60 years old. He looked horrible, And is that because he's in trouble, or is that just the way he looks as a mentally ill drug abuser? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that, But he certainly did not look good, Day to day, eating jail food, But this is what happens to people that commit heinous crimes like this. Jessica Fry, yeah, Stephan Sterns' parents are 100% enablers. There's no doubt they are enablers. But I think they also realize that their son is done. His life as they knew it, as he knew it, is over. Contrary to what they believed with his emails, he's not coming home. He's never coming home. If you're going to visit him, you have to go to the jail or the prison to visit him. Sad case. Yeah, but I'm not feeling sorry for Stephan Sterns. I'm not feeling sorry for Jennifer Soto. Who I am feeling sorry for is Madeline Soto and the life that she endured for the last 5 years from this predator, Stephan Sterns. If anyone feels sorry for Stephan or his family, that's misdirected empathy, right? The empathy and the sadness should all be on the side of Madeline Soto, not Stephan Sterns and his family. It's horrific that a family on either side should have to go through something like this. But that is life, right? That is our life as we know it. How did Ed know about the drive-in story? I don't know that answer. Maddie rests in God's hand right now, for sure. Blows my mind. Definitely Bill, his life is overdone. 100% Stephan Sterns' life is over. So folks, hopefully I answered a lot of your questions. There was a lot of good questions in the chat. We're going to keep following this story as it moves along, as it limps along. And I want to thank all you guys for tuning in on both shows. I saw a lot of double headers for you guys. So I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, Backyard Beverage Bitching with Bill. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.